Okay, so I was just laughing a little bit earlier because the messages are a little bit funny today. It might not be funny to you, granted, but to me, you can take this message, take what resonates. The messages today, I'm sure there's a lot of people who can finish the sentence. The devil is a, right? Maybe you've heard it, maybe it's from just reading or from a religious perspective, but the devil commonly is known as a liar. Now, then the question was asked, what did you lie about today? Oh man. What did you lie about today? Okay, like, let's be real. Hmm? And observe what you're feeling when I asked you the question. Okay. So remember, when I'm speaking, it's to bring light to reality, and stuff that we hide and we try point at each other as if we've got nothing to do with this. We must face the truth of who we are as a people to move forward. Because if we're going to keep pointing at other people and talking bad about other people as if you don't have anything of you that is an existence of that, the fact that you could pick it up means that you are a vibrational match to that. That means you are like attracts like because you identify it. And it goes into the same thing that you'll see one person and someone will completely describe them differently to what you do, right? That's because they are describing an aspect of them. Okay. There's this verse that says, be not of the world, be part of the world. So if we dissect that just a little bit, be not of the world, be part of it. So when you are part of the world, you are experiencing the world. That means you are experiencing lies and you are experiencing truth. You are experiencing cold and you are experiencing heat. So being part of it allows the holding space of tension between fear and then joy and peace. When you are of the world, you've been conditioned to believe, or when you are of the world, you'll be conditioned because it holds a certain matrix, and a certain matrix is just a belief system. It will hold you in this space to become that thing which you are not. Because if you're coming into earth, and it obviously also depends what you sort of feel. Are you spirit having a human experience, or are you human having a spiritual experience? And the thing is, it's partly both and also not. I'll say for the partly both is because depending on the lie and the low vibration that you're seeing, you are dense form, spirit in dense form, okay? And you are seeing the low vibrational aspect. So if you are of the world, you too condense, you too much into this belief of this physical thing that you're seeing here. Because the thing is that the thing that you're seeing here, you see me with locks, you see me with my skin, you see me in a certain place, you're seeing things around you right now, you're seeing how I am portraying this message according to certain conditions that you've had that have been imprinted in you. You will believe a certain thing about me already, right? Just by me saying this message, you already made a judgment according to who you think I am. And then when you get to go into conversation deeper, then it changes. Okay. So we always also have to allow ourselves for safety purposes to make a judgment. Do I pause? Is it green? Is it orange, or is it red? So we always need to make a judgment. It's not a bad thing at all. Okay. So when you are part of the world, you are experiencing both spirit realm, you're experiencing the low vibration, high vibration, you experiencing the highs and the lows, same thing. So it's tension. And as you're finding and experiencing tension, you must find your center of gravity. But your center of gravity is rooted from spirit, from higher source, from higher power, God, connector, your source. So that's why it's important to do breath work and anything that allows you to come into a more meditative state, so that when it says, be still and know that I am God, you understand what that means and you meditate on that. And that comes into non-attachment. So don't be attached to the stories you've also made up with whatever lies, because when we go into the lies that you have, that was your truth, right? But it will turn up as a certain lie, because you could be in the one home, a certain instance could have happened to you, but everybody remembers it differently, right? Because based off their conditioning, they are going to judge it according to whatever is in their conditioning and is wired within their brain and the heart. Okay. Then what I got is, when you think of the devil as a liar, the danger here with saying this is you are okay to look at someone and be manipulated to say, when you see someone like me, you have to act a certain way. It's the same thing as the danger with that is, when you see someone like me, you could put me as a number or an object. So you could objectify me, or you could objectify me, or you could just classify me as a number. So for you, a number could mean something, or it could mean nothing at all. Okay. So the danger in this comes in your perspective of saying that the low vibration is outside of you. This is why it is important to do shadow work, because that shadow, it's like you bringing in the light. And the vision that I get now is almost like, imagine a blank wall. You are still a child, so it's this tiny image of this like white color. And then behind, in the shadow goes like this, it picks up and it makes it look bigger. Then when you actually look at the object, oh no, I'm saying it a completely different way. What I'm saying is, in how, even if in more cartoons, they depict it as these little like animals or little characters. Small characters will be projected against a wall with light, and it will appear like a monster, like as if it's big. You've seen those things, you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's the thing. You are still moving from your inner child wounds. So this thing seems bigger than you, this devil outside of you, your pain outside of you, the lies that you've been told outside of you have made it appear as if life or you are a monster. So what happens is that when you say that something evil is outside of you, remember I said earlier that the fact that you could identify it means that there's some sort of resonance, either through understanding or have embodied it. Okay, where are we going with this one? So when you say that the devil is a liar and you point outside of you, then you don't take responsibility for any actions that cause harm to the person you've either objectified or the person you've just seen as a number. And a number meaning just nothing. It just means it's a point of your success, because then you can count it and go, okay, check, I've done 5, I've done 6, I've done 7. Okay. Yeah, it's going according to those numbers. And then the message that I also got with this one is, because you don't do your shadow work, you think this monster is outside of you, then you could go to war for this, because you're seeing this thing that is bigger than you and you're fighting it because you've objectified it and you've seen it as a number. so then you can easily destroy it, right? So that's what I'm saying. When wars occur, it's because these monsters have been manipulated. You've been manipulated to believe that this, any dark energy, any unknown energy that you feel is outside of you. That's why renewing your mind is so important, because if you don't cleanse and purify, then you hold and store this information. And if this information is not expressed in a platform that is accepting and allowing, it could cause sadness and anger, which then gets expressed in ways that one can never tell fully, like how, where, and how it's going to go. Okay, and then another message that came up was, you are the original artificial intelligence. The fact that this thing is a computer system, it already is, you have to, it's a human that goes and inputs this data, or yeah, this data, right? I wanted to say data. Okay, so you're putting this data in, but data sounds kind of nice. Okay, so you put this data in and it comes from you. That means already there is information from a higher realm, a higher part of your perspective, your highest perspective, which is putting this information into the computer system that generates this AI technology thing into whatever, and the point of it is to make life hopefully easier. Some cases it's not. Okay. So the technology, what came up was, a baby drinking milk doesn't have the technology to chew. That's what I'm saying. AI, stay with me here. So because you are the artificial intelligence, right? So let's look at the technology. When a baby comes, generally we would hope it will be able to breastfeed, right? So when it's sucking on the breast, it has a certain technology of being able to pull more, right? So that technology is stronger there. Then before it can chew solids, it must develop the technology of teeth and the crunching, the chewing ability. That's a certain technology on its own. So your technology is developing, right? That's why you can't now, when you look at Old Testament, New Testament, when we look at, and we reference, like let's say you doing a PhD, you're referencing an author or an artist, philanthropist, psychologist from the past, a philosopher from the past. They have held that certain information, but it might not necessarily apply today, right? So it's not that it's not necessary, it's just that it might not apply in the same way. That's why the technology of a baby growing is sleeping, it's eating, it's nurturing, nourishment, all of that good stuff. But we're just speaking specifically food in the mouth congestion, in the mouth consumption. When it is eating, where was I going with this one now? Okay, so when it is eating, it is learning how to develop the sucking motion, it is learning how to chew motion, and then use all of those types of technologies. Now, there was a specific point that I had about a baby drinking and the technology. Yes, the learning ability. A baby doesn't know it needs to chew up until it has a technology to chew. So when we are rushing life, we don't have the technology to know what is going to come. There might be the general, because when we look at patterns, then we can see that, over time, this is what happens in a baby's development. So there are those cases, but we also need to leave a lot of room for other things that we've never seen before. Okay. And the technology and allowing this goes into the space of being okay with your growth process. So the problem that we have, and it's not necessarily a problem because we need to have contrast in the world, because tension allows for center of gravity, as above so below. Then we see what is happening in our centered state, right? That's why it is important to make sure that in before conversations you're setting that intention to ground, to say, because we are portals and we're feeding off one another and you're entering into my world, it could be overwhelming for you right now, right? If you've come this far to hear these things, and it could be overwhelming in an exciting way. Okay, so it depends what it is you are feeling in your body and where this information is according to where you are. So grounding is very important. I grounded myself before I came here, and I'm not sure I did before I opened the conversation, but either or, there was grounding. So making sure that you are grounding yourself with the information so that whatever is coming at you, you know that you are constantly learning different ways of technology coming through. That's why the importance of meditation is to ground and center yourself so that you're not repeating stuff from the past that might not be applicable now. That's what I'm saying. A baby now can't be complaining that it's chewing because it's got teeth, because it wants to still breastfeed. Does that make sense? So that's kind of like what we're doing when we go and when we don't heal the inner child too, and we think that those dark energies or the heavy energies is outside of us when it's a projection from within us. That's why we can identify it. So if you are moving on in your life, but you like still stuck on breastfeeding when you've got the ability to chew, and there's other abilities, probably technology will be eating in different ways, right? You are holding a lot of information of your magic that needs to be experienced. So what you see sometimes in the world is we have a lot of adults, but they're still stuck in time. I remember my mentor telling me once, some water, a lot of information. Ooh, today just feels like I'm like, just a moment to pause just a little bit. I did not expect, but I'm also very open for where spirit needs to guide us, because that's also wanting to have control and learning to like the technology. There's something someone needs to hear from this message today. And there's something I need to hear and be reminded of today too. Okay, so the last message, hopefully, that came up was 40 days and 40 nights. There's this part in the Bible where Jesus was fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And I think he was in the desert, if I'm correct. And there's this part where the devil comes to test him, and he's like, if you give this up, I will give you everything and all the land that is available to you. And Jesus was like, why are you going to give me something that's already mine? And this is where I think there was a little bit of a glitch somewhere, somehow. And I say that because There are so many versions of the Bible, rightfully so, right? But there's this part where it said you're a sinner. Okay, so we look at the word sin. Sin means to miss the mark. And I have a strong gut feeling that because man wrote the book, and we know what man wants is power. And when man wants power, we abuse the power that we were given. When it said you're born, you are a sinner, I feel strongly that it was meant to say you were born into sin, not that you were born a sinner. Because how could you be born missing the mark? Like, think about it. How could you be born? How could you be chosen out of all the sperm, be the one who is wrong, or to be the one who's missed the mark? Like, if you think about it, like how, the more I dig deeper into that, it's like my brain can't fathom, like, how is it possible that out of all the sperm, you came and you were the one who was born wrong? And this is where I said in one of my readings, I think it was last week, that you do not have an insecurity. You are not insecure. You don't have an insecurity. You are confused. Your head and your heart are not having the same conversation. So this is why it's important to rewire the brain, because your conditioning has told you all these lies about yourself. One week they show a woman who's got long hair and they try to define beauty. Next week they say short hair, this is beauty. Then they say for a man, if you wear a suit, this is what a man represents. Then they say if you're a man who drives these cars, you this type of person. So it's all marketed according to benefit off your insecurity, because when you are not in your strongest power, you take anything. You just like, at this point, I just need to survive, right? So you literally just take anything because of survival. So I really think you're not born a sin. You're not born missing the mark yourself. You're born into a space that missed the mark and missed the point of our existence. You get what I mean? Like, it just feels so counterintuitive for people to be speaking about love and God, and then they're the ones who judge you the most. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. It's that like catch-22. But yeah, shadow work is very important. Someone needs to start doing some shadow work. And how you do shadow work is you start telling the truth. And you understand that if it is not the truth, it's of the devil. And if you know, the devil, that dark energy and entity outside of yourself, you must understand what it is here to teach you. Because the moment you understand your fears, it will give you your greatest freedom. So don't run away from the discomfort. Sit with it, because discomfort is very important information in order for you to be able to move forward. Okay? So take everything as completely new. Even what you can do, if you were really interested in this talk, is you've listened to it today if you've come this far. And then listen to it next week and see what comes. And this is why meditation is important, because you focusing your intention on one thing, and you're going, as I'm focusing on my body and my breath, then all these things are coming at you. They're coming at you. Your conditioning, the lies, the truths, the stories, all these things are coming at you all at once like this. And then you learn how to breathe in and you learn how to breathe out. whilst it's coming, you're learning how to center yourself so that no matter what shape, this is where the yoga practice comes in, no matter what shape it's taking, you are still centered. Okay, so maybe I'm getting someone needs to start a yoga practice, maybe get some dancing, some moving from this energy, because today has been a lot of information. I myself have had to rest a lot more today. And yeah, I think those are the messages. Take what resonates. If you want a specific personal reading and there's something here that you were like, there's something that I want to find out from this, but I need it dissected personally. So if it's very pertinent to you wanting to learn how to do shadow work, then specifically for you and what you would need to focus on at this point in time. And yeah, we can get you there. You can just email in the I don't know why we point like this. I guess it's down below. In the description down below, my email me and we can have a one-on-one session to find out like what is your biggest block? What is your biggest lie that you're believing that is blocking you from your highest alignment and from your source? And that has made you believe and objectify people as if they're the bad ones, and just because you recognize it, then you are clean. Anyways, you're going to take whatever messages, because it made sense, and then it was just like, whoa. So take whatever resonates for you there. Sending so much love.